This is the big one, creativity. Creativity. Often talked about, very rarely understood, or um, very rarely approached from a business side of things. What is creativity? How does it help separate you from everyone else? How can you take advantage of that? How can your knowledge of where it fits into the overall system of being a cinematographer, where it fits in, how you can make the most of it? So, creativity, depending on where you're at in terms of your career, creativity will, at the very beginning of your career, it'll probably be the least important aspect, right? The lower end budget people are just looking for technically correct images, someone that knows how to turn the camera on and can produce results that are repeatable, and someone that has the skill necessary to tell the crew what they need to do in order to get the project done. It plays much less of a role. But as you move up, as you continue to get better and better jobs, the creativity and what you bring, your personal approach to the project, becomes even more important. It becomes, in fact, a necessity at the top. It's what you get hired for, is your creativity. Everyone at a certain level has the technical capacity, has the technical understanding. There's 1,000 cinematographers out there that know exactly what you know or what you should know about an image. What separates them is their own creative approach, their own unique creativity. And creativity should also be the most rewarding part of the job. This is the part of the job that even in the commercial world, you are fighting for, right? Again, you have to know when to push and when not to push and all the pinpoints that other people may be following. But this is something like the creative elements are the parts that you should be willing to make things uncomfortable with crew, make things uncomfortable with directors. This is where, if you're going to make a stand, this is where you should make it, in your creativity. Because again, this is what will get you, this is what will open you up to future employment, is your creative response to projects, your framing, your lighting, your composition. And again, this is also where you have to be able to explain your creative elements to individuals that may not think the same way that you do. So having that communication on the managerial side of things, of knowing that, okay, this is, you've got the opportunity as a cinematographer for a given project. You have been given the right to translate the visuals for that project. It's not the gaffer, it's not the grip, it's not the first AC. The buck stops with you for the visuals, right? You still have to report to the director and make sure that they're happy, but you might as well take advantage of it. You might as well put your own stamp on things so that if things don't go well, then you tried your best and you are to blame. If they go great, you know exactly where the rewards are coming from, right? It's coming from your own mind to come up with a solution to tackle the problem-solving nature of things. I've always said the best part about being a cinematographer for me is problem solving on the fly, of seeing immediate results. Let's try this, let's try that. This isn't going to work, let's try this. That's the creative element. It's the problem solving that is creative. It's not only coming up with the look and thinking about the mood and going out and looking at references and saying, okay, this is the style. Yeah, that's creative. That is definitely creative. But there's also creativity in the flow of things. I often talk about the last 5 minutes of any setup is oftentimes where the most amount of work gets done. So you come up with your lighting plot, you make your lighting plan, and this is where we're going to put this, and this is where we're going to put that, and you have an idea of it coming together. But there's so many people working on set, and there's so many different elements that come together that it's that last 5 minutes of actual creativity, of actually saying, no, we need to stop more out of this, we need to stop out of that. This is where it starts to tick over. And creativity is what will help separate you from everyone else. So you have to keep yourself open to the opportunities for inspiration, for growing, for stretching your creativity, and understand that what we've said up until this point, and what we'll say for most of this course, is that you have to understand the pinpoints of others and be a problem solver. But when it comes to creativity, this is your spot. This is your spot. If you're going to make things uncomfortable, if you're going to be passionate about this. Know that this is your vision for this thing, for whatever project it is. This is what you're trying to get across. And this is why people hire you, for that vision, right? They come to you at the highest levels. They come to you seeking the way that you would do this, your visual interpretation of this job. That's why people will come back to you. So be willing to fight for it. Be willing to make things slightly uncomfortable. But again, it comes back to time and place, knowing the roles, knowing when to go and when not to go, when to say things and when to just get it. When you can't fight a director on every call if they need a certain shot because the agency asked for it. You might not be privy to that conversation, so you just need to back off. So it's a balancing act between creativity, technical, managerial. All three of these roles play a huge part in becoming a successful cinematographer, understanding them how you can use them and how you can exploit them to your advantage is going to help you get that much further. So the big takeaway from this one is that people, they will not remember. They'll quickly forget the arguments on set. They'll quickly forget the heated moments on set, but they'll certainly remember shitty work. So when it comes to creativity, when it comes to the visions that you have for something, you're the person that's done the research and looked in for inspiration and for references and set up these moods and tones and understands the technical and the managerial side of things. Fight for the creativity. Fight for, no one else is going to fight for the image, right? It's up to the cinematographer. It's up to you to hold them to the highest standard possible and to say, this is what we can get. Let's do it. Let's be creative. Let's be bold. Let's put it out there because we have the understanding. I have the understanding technically. We have room to fail, right? We can shoot big and still produce something that is acceptable and everyone likes if we do go too far, right? Knowing those limits, understanding those limits, and then pushing them with your creativity. It should be the most fun and certainly the most rewarding part of the job.